EastEnders fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week, discussing the episodes broadcast from the 29th of January to the 1st of February 2024. New month, new us. I don't plan to change that much, to be honest. I've had a haircut. Oh, what more do you want? Yeah, see, we've both had haircuts. Joining me as usual is the delightfully beautiful, gorgeous Ree. Hello, Ree. How are you this week?
Hiya, Rob. I'm all right. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. Yeah, we both had a haircut. That's good. Mine desperately needed doing. Desperately.
Same.
Oh, it gets to a
Oh,
point
yeah, it
where...
looks lovely, Rob. I noticed
Thanks,
it
Ree.
straight
Yeah,
away,
yeah, I
actually.
know you
Yeah.
did. Yeah, thanks, Ree. Yeah, really noticed that. It was full of compliments before we started recording for my new haircut, weren't you?
I'm always saying, oh, hello, gorgeous, beautiful, delightful Rob, aren't
No,
I?
all the
You just
time,
don't
yeah.
see it.
That's the reason I talk to you. Just fill me full of compliments all the time. So, like I say, ladies and gents, new month. So that means we have a new Peggy to go on the wall. Remember, this calendar was designed by Ree. She chose the pictures. And if you think that she knows where she got the pictures from, you are very much mistaken.
Yeah, this
Right.
could be fun.
So that was January's picture. Say bye bye to January, and we now go on to which way does this turn? Oh my god!
Oh, Jesus Christ,
But it's
Rob.
still
This is anticlimactic.
it is
You've not ripped it, have you?
anticlimactic.
Yeah, it's
No,
that
I
way.
haven't. No, I haven't ripped it. I'm just turning it the wrong way. That's all that's going on there. And that's February. Oh, Peggy having a
Hey!
rant. Peggy having a
Right.
rant. Now,
In this scene, Rob, Peggy is
yes,
saying to somebody, get
get
out of
out of
my
my pub
pub.
by any
Yeah.
chance? Yeah, that's a classic Peggy having a rant mode there. That's good. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like that. So that is February for Peggy, and we have got it on for one day more than we normally have in a February because it's a leap year this month, this year. Yeah, there you
I know
go.
it throws me off a leap year because normally I can go, oh
No,
well, that were a Monday last year, so it's a Sunday this year. Oh, can't do that this
no,
year,
no,
can
no.
we?
I'd hate to be born on a leap year, wouldn't you? On the 29th of February. What do you
Oh
do?
yeah.
What do you do? Do you celebrate it on the day before, the day after? What do you do?
I guess at least well, you've got a bit of leeway, haven't you?
And then get absolutely hammered on leap year's day,
Just
I
do
would
two
hope.
days. Or just do 2 days.
Why not? Why not? There we are then. So that is February. That's our intro sorted this week. We have had quite the week this week, full of apparitions and scary moments and nervous breakdowns and a unannounced return, which we shall come on to. I certainly didn't see that guy returning when he did. So we'll get on. We're talking about that in this week's Albert Square After Dark. So let's kick off this week. We're talking about Denzel and Nugget, or should I say, shall we punch off this week? Start talking about Denzel and Nugget because we are in the themes of boxing and self-defense and all that kind of thing. I know all about this, Ree. Obviously, this is right. This is
I know
obviously
you do.
right up my alley.
You're well boxing, aren't
I'm
you?
well boxing. Absolutely. So, I mean, a bully called Logan has started picking on Denzel. Now, this kid just sort of strolls it. I say kid. This guy.
Kid? Kid?
This kid. Oh, bless the actor who's played him. He's had some right stick to put up with this
Oh,
week.
come on. They just stuck a
Oh,
30
bless
year
him.
old in a
He
school
was.
uniform. Come
I mean,
on.
I don't think he's 30. I think he's in his late 20s, the actor who played Logan. And somebody on Twitter said, I'm pretty sure that guy sold me mortgage at one point. And so, fair play to him. He kind of made a joke about that on his own social media and said, I just let people know I don't sell mortgage. I'm an actor. Okay, I'm an actor. But yeah, he definitely looked older than Denzel. So I don't know whether it's
What
supposed
do
to
you
believe that he's doing his
what do you think?
GCSEs or something.
Yeah, exactly. The CV of that
Sixth
actor
form,
playing age is what,
11
15
to
to
50.
40. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No,
Cool.
bless him. Bless him.
Oh
But
dear.
anyway,
Anyway.
so yeah, Denzel starts getting picked on by this middle-aged man. And so no. So yeah, Logan comes in, and I like the fact that he walked in and like instantly we're told that he's bad news because Ivana's like, shouldn't you be in detention for fighting? So we're like, all right, okay, bad boy, got it.
Yeah.
We get the cut of your
Noted.
jib. Yeah, noted. Thanks, Ivani. And he's just a bit of an arse, really. Like, starts picking on Amy and starts picking on Denzel, and like because he's picking on Amy, Denzel kind of gets all machismo about it, like, and they end up having a fight. And because he's a school bully, like any self-respecting school bully, he's flanked by his buddies, and they meet each other in the square, come down one of the back alleyways at night, and really lay into Denzel. And he's sort of outnumbered and ends up kind of getting kicked about and beaten up, and it's not good. Yolandi then walks around the corner at this moment and tries to help her, then instantly falls over because, old woman,
Bless her.
I guess. So, she tried to run and help him
It,
and then instantly fell
I was going
over.
to say it could easily happen in that
It
situation.
would
Your
happen to
mind's
me.
going faster than your body. Yeah.
It would happen to me because I feel like what I do in that situation is sort of like, oh my God, my friend needs help. And then I'd be running towards it, realizing
Jump.
how big everybody else was. And thought, like, right, I need to get out of this immediately. I'll just fall
Retreat.
over. That's easier to do here at this
Oh,
moment, I
right.
think.
So it were deliberate, were it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like she realised that she's only gonna get her head kicked in. I'll fall over. That gets me out of this. Much better. It looks like I tried to help, but it just went wrong. That's all that happened there. And they start sort of filming it, and then they sort of run away because Ivani turns up and does a fill. I was very impressed with Ivani this week because she turns up. She may as well have been brandishing Phil's baseball bat. She picks up this lead piping and starts banging it against the wall, like going, oh! Like screaming.
Like, yo, leave her alone, man. Leave her alone, man. Come at me, bro. Come at me, yeah.
I like Ivani. They all run off, and Denzel feels small and insignificant and
I
sort of
know.
embarrassed by it all, and then kind of spends the rest of the week sort of having like little man syndrome because he's like, oh, I'm fed up of being
Yeah.
small. I'm fed up of being small, as though like he's the same sort of storylines that they used to give Piglet in Winnie the Pooh. Like, oh, I'm fed up of being small. I'm a very small animal. Piglet never had boxing
Well,
lessons though, so maybe that's where Piglet went wrong.
I don't think Ivani helped matters though. Like, obviously, she went in and saved the day as she did, but then she
Yes.
was like, sorry, she witnessed the entire thing. So there were four people on Denzel, and then
Yeah.
starts going, oh, you didn't even stick up for yourself. Like,
Yeah, a
and
girl
I
had
just
to
feel
help
like,
you.
all right, Ivani, all
Yeah,
right, chill
yeah.
out. Like, what were we supposed to do?
And what this results in the next day is that Avani sat there watching the video that's been put all over social media
Laughing at that
because
point,
teenagers are cruel and heartless.
aren't they?
I always say this, but I am so glad that social media wasn't a thing when I was at school.
Well,
So
I had
glad.
MySpace and Bebo and all that came
See,
in
now that didn't
MySpace.
come along till I was at college,
Oh,
so
because
that was all
you're a
right.
bit older,
Because I'm
aren't you? I
really old.
forget.
Yeah, because I'm really old. Like I'm like 68. So shut your face. Um, So they start, and then Denzel starts getting into a row with her, and then because Denzel's rowing with Ivani, Nugget kind of throws himself in. I was really quite impressed by Nugget sort of launching himself at Denzel and sending him flying halfway across the square and landing on the floor.
Actually, do you know what? I was actually quite impressed with that stunt.
Yeah,
I
look
thought that was
good.
performed really well, all of it actually.
I feel like the boys would have been like, "No, we'll do that. Don't bother with any stunt doubles. We're young lads. We
Yeah,
can we can do that.
yeah.
That's not a problem." They start fighting. Priya runs over, smacks Denzel in the mouth. Get off my son!
Yeah, it was an accident, to be fair.
It's Priya. I don't know whether it was an accident. To be fair,
Oh, I
not.
thought it was.
It might
Oh,
have been.
interesting.
It might have been. I'd say that's open to interpretation.
Okay,
It is Priya.
okay,
Anybody
okay.
else? Anybody else? I'd have been like, yeah, no, that was an accident. Priya, I wouldn't be surprised if she just like stuck an elbow in just to sort of kind of
Okay.
bring the situation to a close. Um, and sort of Ravi then kind of gets involved and says, right, well, the two of you, right, okay, you're supposed to be mates, so let's sort out these anger issues that you both got. I'm going to take you to the boxing den. Denzel's like, right, yeah, let's do it. Nugget is what I'd be in the situation. Clearly has no intention, doesn't want to be there whatsoever. Like, has no joy in this whatsoever. Like when he go, because like when they're at the boxing den, Nugget's sort of half-heartedly doing it, like, oh, I can't be asked to do this. And Denzel's going mad. Like he does
Mm.
that whole thing where he's kind of pummeling the what they called the
Punch bag?
I'll do, yeah, punch business. I know all about boxing.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I
It's a
think it
punch
is.
bag.
I think it is. That's my sport knowledge. I couldn't remember what a punch bag was called.
Oh
Ah,
dear.
such a cliche. What this kind of then evolves into is Denzel being sort of becoming obsessed with the idea of self-defense and boxing, like eating loads of chicken because protein, and sort of
And he
like
wagged skull, didn't he, just to go
he did wag
boxing?
school. Is that what you call it? Wagging.
Is that
Wagging. Is that
not
what you
what you
call it?
call it?
No, skiving.
Oh, we
It's
call it wagging
it's one
it.
of the
You
no,
wagging
no,
it?
wagging it. Yeah, no, it's one of those words that like in different parts of the country it's called different things, isn't it? It's one of those. It's like a bread bun. Like wagging of
Ah,
bread
bread
buns.
cake. Bread cake.
Don't be stupid. It's
It's a
not
bread
a cake.
cake.
No,
But
it's not a cake.
it's a bread
It's not a
cake.
bread cake. It's not a
I'm not
cake.
going. I'm not going through this again. This
We have this argument.
honestly.
Me and Ray have this argument at least once a year. It's an annual event. Uh,
Anyway, I thought everyone called it wagging it.
no, I used to call it skiving it, but I think also it's a generational thing as well. But anyway,
Oh.
he doesn't go to school because he wants to sort of
Yes.
so he kind
He
of wants to
doesn't want to
continue
eat bread
playing.
cakes because
Doesn't
he's
want to
on
eat
this
bread cakes
diet.
because he's not a fool and wouldn't call it a bread cake. Uh, I'm gonna have the whole of Yorkshire after me now. You know this, don't you? And you'll be like, yeah, and you deserve it. I'm gonna be like a Varney and just like film it and laugh at people on social media.
Yeah.
Um, so where do you think this is going? How far is this going to go? This obsession? Do you think?
Well, to me, it looks like he's going to get some kind of disorder, doesn't it? I'm assuming he's going
Oh,
down
that's it.
eating
Yeah,
disorder
maybe.
route. Oh, did
Maybe.
you not
That's.
think that?
I didn't. It didn't go to come to my head automatically, but yeah, I think you can. I don't think it necessarily needs to lead down that route, but it's a possibility for sure. But I
It
don't
was
think we
just
would.
how we were eating the chicken and like watching. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was more of a diet video than a fitness video that we were watching while we were
I
eating it.
feel like we've just done eating disorders with Ben, so I don't know whether they go down that route again quite so
But
quickly.
that's what I thought, and then I thought, yeah, but we spoiler alert, we know something's going to go on with Ben, so they're just going to
Uh,
pass it on to Denzel. I did think that myself, like we've just done
uh.
it, but it didn't
I
go that
mean,
in depth with Ben, really, did it?
kind of and kind of not, didn't it? It's sort of
Yeah.
like we were aware it was there, and then he sort of maybe
Mm,
kind of dealt with the repercussions of it a little bit off screen more than on screen, possibly.
mm,
Yeah, maybe. And I think a young teenager, they're very susceptible to sort of like self confidence issues and all that kind of thing because that's that nasty side of life just kind of comes into the fray when you're that age, doesn't it?
mm.
So yeah, it could be interesting. I mean, I just was kind of confused where Denzel was getting this idea that he was small from. Like,
I know, I've never thought of
I've
Denzel being
never thought of
small.
Denzel as small, but then maybe that's half the point. It's how you see yourself more than how other people see you, isn't it?
It's interesting that they're doing it from doing like a teenage body image from a male perspective.
Mm.
I don't think I've ever seen that before actually on a soap.
No,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, no, you
I've
could well
not.
be
I
right.
don't think I have. Yeah.
It could well be right, and there is and rightly there is a lot said about young girls and the pressure that the media and all that kind of puts on them. There is also a lot for young guys as well, and like you say, that's not really very often addressed. So I'd be quite
Mm,
interested to sort of see, especially like as an old man, sort of looking and seeing what the kids today have to deal with on that front because it's only
mm.
got worse as time's gone on. Like we had when we were at school, we the worst we had really was magazines. You
Yeah.
know, and now obviously TikTok, social media, all that kind of thing is really sort of it takes over kids' lives and sort of sounds so old. Sort of takes over kids' lives and sort of is really influential in their thinking and sort of influential on who they're watching and who they're basing their opinions on. So yeah, I'd be really interested to see kind of exactly where they're taking this with
Mm.
Denzel.
The only other thing I could think is, are they going to make him go down some kind of steroid route? 'Cause
Possibly, yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't look like it's gonna it doesn't look like he's gonna be healthy about it. I feel like
No,
they
because it instantly is obsessive about it, isn't he? So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's interesting. Yeah. So
Interesting that they're doing it while Howie and Kim aren't here as well.
instantly, this is the second that
Yeah,
Harry and Kim leave, Denzel falls off the rails.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
pleased. I'm pleased that he's getting his own story though, Denzel, actually, because he's a good little actor, and with Nugget on his side as well. The two of them are a good pairing on screen together. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm pleased to see this. Actually, I'm really looking forward to sort of seeing
Yeah,
where this goes. We've said for quite a while now that this generation of kids on the square are all really strong actors. So I'm really pleased to sort of see them coming to the fore and having their time in the spotlight. It's exciting
definitely.
because
Yeah.
this is the future of the show in these kids' hands. So
I think they're a great bunch of teens
yeah,
actually.
so do I.
Hopefully they're all gonna be getting involved
I mean,
somehow.
the Barney and Nugget especially, they'll say lines, and I'm like, I have no idea what they're talking. Like they're just the way that they talk, the way that it's kids speak. I'll have
Oh,
no
I
clue what they're
feel
talking
really
about.
cool because I understand everything. So that's
No,
good to know.
no, I haven't got a clue sometimes. So it's
All
nice to be
right.
educated. It's nice to be educated.
You're being educated
I am
again.
being
Brilliant.
educated. Give it 6 months and I'll be talking like the kids on EastEnders. I'll be
Yeah, yeah.
street. I'll be down with the kids. That's me. Down with the kids. So yeah, interesting. Also kind of wonder how this is going to affect Denzel and Amy's relationship because obviously Amy's got her own stuff going on as well. So how are the two going to gel together in terms of story? Will it bring them together? Because Amy's kind of like, all right, I can kind of get where your brain is at right now, so I can help you here, or is it going to tear them apart?
I think the latter, to be honest.
You reckon?
He's already bailed on a family dinner so that he can eat chicken, like
That's
loads of
fair.
chicken.
Fair.
I mean,
Yeah, I know what I'd rather do.
Yeah.
So but KFC doesn't really count as chicken, does it? In terms of protein and healthiness, does it? Really? No, probably not. So we are then. So we'll wait and see where this goes for Denzel. Could be the start of quite a journey for him, but we shall have to wait and see. Right then, ladies and gents, let's move on to the six now, who took over the rest of the week, and we will start off with Linda and Alfie. So, ladies and gents, I don't know what your views are on it, but it would appear that Alfie and Linda are now a thing. That's happened. What do you think, Ree? Alfie and Linda? Alfinda?
Alfinda. Yeah, it's got to be
Alfinda?
Alfinda.
It's got to be, in it? Because
Can't be
otherwise you call it Alinda, which doesn't really work.
Lalin, Lalfe.
Lalva now, it's rubbish, isn't it? Alfinda. It's got to be
Alfinda.
Alfinda. Alfinda. It's got to be Alfinda.
Alfinda.
What do you think?
No,
Not a
that's
fan?
what I think. No, I like them being friends. What's wrong with a good old
I am
friendship these days?
always champion friendship over the
Mm,
relationship. And it was feeling a little bit inevitable between Alfie and Linda, I have to
yeah,
say, and you can see elements of Alfie that you kind of think Linda probably would be attracted to that because there are
yeah.
elements of Mick in Alfie and there always have been, whether people like to admit it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me,
No, agreed.
people don't like to admit it. But there are elements of Mick in Alfie and vice versa. It could only be, let's be honest, a pink dressing gown wouldn't terribly not suit Alfie in many ways, would it?
No, I, yeah, in like maybe if they'd not built the friendship so well,
Made them
I'd
such a
ship them
likable
a bit
pairing in
more.
terms of friendships.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But because of that, no, I'm not. You know what? I hated Cat and Phil at first. So do you know what?
And do you know what? I absolutely loved Cat and Phil's friendship at the start because they were just such an unlikely pair and they were quite a good comedy duo together.
Yeah,
So I was almost disappointed when they got together because I was sort of like, oh, we're losing that element of it, which is a shame.
yeah. I don't know. I think with the state Linda's in as well, would it even?
Well,
I don't know. I don't know. It's a bit like, well, no, it isn't like that. I was just going to say it's a bit like when Jean got with Harvey, but she weren't in a literally like in the right frame of mind. Do you know what I
mm,
mean? So
well,
is there any longevity anyway with Linda being
I
the way
don't
she is at
know.
the
I
minute?
mean, I certainly don't think that Linda's ready for a relationship at the moment in
No.
any stretch of the imagination. So this all comes from Linda's doing okay. I say she's doing okay. She's become a bit of a functional alcoholic of late, hasn't she? Like she's going about her
She does
normal
well.
life.
She does
I
really
mean,
well.
we're not supposed to be advocating this really, but you sort of think, well,
Oh
she's
yeah.
done. Oh, this is the thing. Like she's still clearly
I
an
know.
alcoholic and she's clearly still drinking. But what she's kind of started doing is like carrying a flask of wine around with her and then sort of going about her daily life. I'm assuming she's not driving while she's doing this. They haven't really discussed that side of things. I'm guessing
Nah.
not. But she's sort of, she's got a flask. I do that at work, not with alcohol, with tea. And that's basically how she's living her life, isn't it? I might start
I
doing it
thought
with
you were
wine,
going to
to
be
be fair.
like,
Yeah, I might
actually.
start. I might start doing it with vodka and see how long it takes people to notice. Um, so she's doing kind of okay, and she's sort of righted herself after the events of Christmas, and she's sort of like, right, okay, so I just need to deal with that now. Okay, this is my new normal. I will just continue drinking my wine, and everything will be fine. But then Ricky decides to send her a picture of Mick and Janine's baby. Now, I would love to know what was going through Ricky's mind when he thought that was a good idea. Like, in what universe did he think that was a good idea?
I don't know actually. Yeah, just sending it randomly. Could have at least said, "Would you like to see a picture
Yeah,
first or something?" A
bit
bit
of
of warning,
pre-warning, a bit of
maybe.
just
Yeah,
a bit of
of
pre-warning, which you go,
this
yeah,
baby that looks pretty similar to your
pretty
dead
similar to Mick.
husband.
Yeah, yeah, not his
Do you
most
know
subtle
what?
moment.
I was actually wondering who is that? Whose baby is that? Did they like
It's a random
do an,
kid,
or did they do an AI of like Janine and Mick or something, and then
and just
like,
splice them into a kind of what would their
yeah,
baby look like? Yeah,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah, one of those.
All it was missing was like the little beard and like the crazy blonde hair. Going well, bring Janine back, I say. So yeah, this throws Linda off the wagon
Mm,
with great force. And she gets drunk, and because she's supposed to be sort of going with Alfie to his latest radiation, what's it called?
radiotherapy.
That's the one, radiotherapy session. Because obviously Alfie's cancer storyline has been sort of ticking along in the background a little bit. It's not really been a big focus, Alfie's cancer, really. It's about over the
No, we had
past
a bit
like
of it
couple of
obviously
months.
we had it this week, didn't we? Obviously when we were
Yeah,
at the pub,
but with
and
it's
had his
sort of
little
been like
accident.
yeah, but it's sort of been sort of like, yeah, we know that's still going on and he's going to his
Yeah,
sessions, but they've not really
yeah.
sort of been dealing with it directly. And so this
Mm,
week is the first time we've really kind of directly looked at it properly for a long time. And obviously the sessions are making things a little bit delicate for Alfie downstairs, and he ends up wetting himself in the pub in front of Ian and in front of Billy. Really embarrassing moment for him, obviously. And Linda says to him, right, well, the only way you're going to be able to sort this out and feel better about it is if you just tell people the truth. You need to tell people what's going on, and then you will feel better that it's out there, and you will have more support around you, because frankly, more support around you gives me a break because I can't do support right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, she does pretty much say that actually,
pretty
doesn't
much
she?
says that I can't be
Mm.
asked, so you need to go tell him. You know, need to go tell your mates. Ian and Billy together as a pairing. I didn't see that coming. I can't imagine those two were going to be
No,
great mates, really.
it were Ian, Billy, and Patrick who
Yeah,
Alfie decided to tell.
it feels like those three men were just on the road to working that week, and they were like, "Yeah, those are their mates now."
Well, that's what I also thought about Reese in a different storyline this week,
Reese
actually. But
being
yeah,
Reese kind of deciding that psychics do exist. Yeah, that didn't feel.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd have thrown Harvey in this mix. Now he's lost his. Now Harvey's lost his mates. That would have been quite a good sort of
yeah,
group for
actually,
Harvey to go into, because Harvey's not really got mates around him at the minute, which is a
no,
shame because
because
he works
Richard's
in
gone.
yeah,
Mm,
because he works in that sort of kind of community spirit type scene, doesn't he, Harvey?
mm.
So yeah, Linda's getting very, very drunk. Her and Alfie kind of end up sort of being together because Linda gets herself thrown out of the bar, thrown
Oh
out of
yeah,
the
the
Albert
Albert.
because she's drinking too heavily because she knows she won't get served at the Vic. And Alfie sort of takes her away and tries to look after her. And Linda is in pieces. You know, the picture of the baby is completely and utterly thrown her under the wagon. And then she turns around to Alfie and says, "I wish I could die for what I did to him at Christmas."
I
How?
mean,
I
not your
mean,
smartest move, Linda.
not her
Although
smartest.
prior to that, she were having a minute in the cellar, weren't she, at the Vic, crying, and Elaine walked in.
Yeah,
But Elaine said, I'm too busy right now to be dealing with your
I've got
tears.
a
I've got
psychic
Madame
coming.
Tellerina
As
coming.
soon as Madame
When
Tellerina's done
that's
her
done,
thing, I'm all yours. I'm
I'm
all
there.
yours.
I'm there, daughter who's an
Ah,
alcoholic crying over it. Ah, Madame Tellerina. Ah.
Madame
She said
Terina.
yes. Ah. But no, seriously.
uh,
Like your
Bad mom.
daughter is an
She's.
alcoholic
I love
crying over
Elaine, but
her dead husband's
yeah,
baby, and you're saying
I do love Elaine, but she's an awful mum. She really
she's the
is.
worst mom. Sorry, but she
She's
really
so
is.
bad, isn't she? Like she'll come
Wait,
in every now and again and give Linda some kind of really heartfelt advice, and then with the other hand, being like, "But just put that aside because I need to go and count the stock. That's really important. As soon as
yeah.
I've done that, then I'm all yours." Like her prioritization isn't brilliant, is it, Elaine?
No, it's
Really,
not.
she doesn't
Because,
put her daughter first.
well, if it weren't for that, I would have been thinking that Linda were going to drunkenly confess to Elaine. So it kind
Well,
of fits that that's why she's then gone to Alfie.
that was, I think, sort of the theme of this week with the six, wasn't it? Like you sort of
Mm,
felt someone's going to find out about the body this week, aren't they? Like that because
yeah.
a few of the six was sort of faltering. A few of the six were sort of like it felt like the six are slowly starting to disintegrate. The only person that is looking remotely capable of dealing with everything is Suki, who at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
ironically, is having the time of her life because
Oh,
she's
shit.
managed to divorce from Nish and all is well, really.
Yeah. Boss. Boss bitch. Sorry.
Boss bitch.
Didn't mean to swear. Oh, no, it's all right. They swore this week, so okay,
Oh, there you
I can
go.
say
Yeah,
bitch.
exactly. So Alfie sort of like after Linda said this to him, he's sort of like, right, well, we need to have a conversation because what are you on about? He goes to Stacey, and Stacey kind of convinces him, oh, no, no, it won't be anything big. It won't be anything big. And then she kind of runs over to Linda and is like, you need to sort this out. I don't know what you've done. I don't know what you need to say, but I'll grass you up to the other women if you don't sort this out. And Linda's like, right, okay, sorry, sorry,
Well, she
sorry.
says, turn it into a different him. Just turn it
Anything,
into a different.
anything.
Linda really freaked out, didn't she? Do
She
you think it's
does.
because she couldn't actually remember what she'd said or
What she
something?
said. I mean, yeah, but that's freaky, isn't it? Like, I think this is sort of the darkness of the alcoholic is the fact that anything could have happened and they black out. Like, she woke up on the sofa at 4 p.m. and Alfie knew that she was
Mm.
going to be asleep. Like, when you awake, it's like message me because we need to have a conversation. And it was like 4 p.m. when she kind of rose from the sofa in a really, really hungover state. And then she goes across to Alfie, gives him some kind of cock and bull story about Mick and like how she was referring to Mick and you know how awful she feels about it all and all that kind of thing. Which, to be fair, is probably half true. In all fairness, like I
Yeah,
imagine
exactly. So
there
it's a
was
good way of covering
yeah,
up for it, really, isn't it?
yeah. So Mick's still there for her in spirit, if not in body. And then the two of the, Alfie's kind of like, you're a diamond, you know that? You're an absolute diamond, and kind of gives her all this emotional support. And Linda kisses him. Now, I wasn't 100% sure that the kiss was completely and utterly sort of two-way
Reciprocated.
reciprocated. I wasn't sure whether
Well,
Alfie
this
maybe
is
pulled away or how he's feeling.
well, this is what I thought because I thought there's time for the next scene to be, oh, you shouldn't have kissed me, or
Yeah,
sorry, I
but
kissed
that
you.
was like the end of their scenes for the week, wasn't it?
Yeah, but also like Linda's drunk, so would Alfie go there knowing that
This is the
she's
thing.
been
I don't think he
drinking so
would.
much?
I
No,
don't
I
think he
don't think
would,
he would. Mm,
if I'm
which is why.
honest.
Also, by the way, Alfie needs to get rid of any alcohol in his flat when he knows Linda's coming round
Yeah,
because she just
right.
went straight to the fridge.
She knew
Like, oh,
exactly where it was.
did I leave a? Have you got a bottle of white wine there,
Yeah,
or did I
but
leave one
no,
there
like
yesterday,
literally, like
Alfie?
yeah.
Crack that
He's like kind of
open.
like, do you want a coffee? No, I'll have this wine that I know's in your fridge. Cheers. I'll just pour myself a glass
Yeah.
of that. Thanks. Yeah, hide the alcohol. Hide the alcohol, Alfie. Put it in at the very
Mm.
least. Put it in a different cupboard.
Yeah,
Like that's all you need
yeah,
to do. Put it in a lower cupboard
yeah,
instead. Put it in a higher cupboard that you can't reach. That's
yeah.
all you
She
need to
can't
do.
reach it.
Like medication with children. Just put it in the top
Yeah.
cupboard and she can't reach it.
Hmm.
Yes, so Linda and Alfie. I don't know. I don't hate it, if I'm honest, but I sort of wonder if there's going to be a little bit more to it. I don't think this is them together, if I'm honest.
But well, I just don't want it to ruin a friendship
A
that I've
friendship,
liked
yeah.
seeing because it's been a nice
Exactly.
friendship to see. So that's my only main gripe. But do you know what? Whatever.
The
Fine.
best thing for
Another
Alfie to
random
do,
couple to get together. They're not that random though,
but
actually, in
not that
fairness,
random.
are they?
They've no.
Uh
It's not like Cat and Nish where we're like, oh, okay, that came out of
oh
nowhere.
yeah, that is a good point, actually, yeah. Yeah.
There's at least preamble to this, and at least we know,
Mm,
there's been a run up to quite a substantial run up to this moment. To be fair, and throughout this, I've sort of thought, yeah, I can kind of see them getting together, and I wouldn't entirely hate
yeah.
it. And it does keep Cat away from Alfie because I feel like that's done. If I'm honest, I know at some point, Cat and Alfie will get back together again. Okay, I'm not an
Yeah.
idiot. I know that because soaps like bringing these legendary couples back together again, but I have enjoyed them separated and they
Mm,
could work as friends. I always remember the Stacey and Max relationship where how when they weren't kind of boning on the floor on Christmas Day,
doing
they were
it.
actually really good mates together. And they kind of
Yeah.
understood each other really really well. And I like that aspect of Cat and Alfie.
Hmm.
So I'd kind of like to kind of keep that going for as long as we can. And like I say, I know they're going to get together at some point, but just for now. But with Linda and Cat, with Linda and Cat, there's a different storyline. Linda and Alfie. Hey, Cat did say she'd give it a go. Well, she did
Been,
say to Weave, I think you've got the right idea. In all fairness, so
yeah.
try it with Linda. Um, I don't hate it, and maybe there's a future. But like I say, I think the best thing for Alfie's character next week would have been to say, "Look, you were drunk. I ain't doing that. All right, you're in a bad state, and I've got stuff going on as well. Let's just be mates for now. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Possibly put a pin in it. Yeah, we'll put a
Put it
pin
on the
in me
back
and you.
burner.
Put it on the back
Yeah.
burner. Put a pin in me and you, and we'll talk about it later. So
Yeah.
hopefully that's what Alfie does."
Yeah. Agreed. Yes, I agree with that. That would be the best scenario.
Meanwhile, Linda is still kind of falling all over the place and off the wagon. I mean, did you set the sense that she was kind of thinking, no, I need to sort myself out by the end of the week? Because she said that she was going to go back to meetings. She said that she wants to put herself back on the wagon again.
Nah, she'll
So,
still be. I'm not being funny, but she's got it sussed with having it in coffee cup and being quite functional. It's only when she goes too overboard,
yeah, but there's only
which she
so
has a
long you
couple
can
of
do that
times.
for, isn't there? Because like all of a sudden, if the rest of the family isn't available to pick up Ollie or something, then
Yeah, that's true
she
because
needs to be
yeah,
there for that. So that's only
mm,
sustainable for so long, isn't it?
mm,
So
maybe that'd be the only reason. Then I mean, we know, spoiler alert, Nino, that a certain offspring of hers, I'm going to say sibling, offspring of hers
yes,
is coming back soon. So maybe
sausage
that's going to tie
surprise.
into all this.
Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward because we did get a Johnny mention this week. So
Mm,
and obviously they would have known that Johnny's returning when they threw that line
yeah.
in. So I wonder if we're going to have some build up to Johnny's return at some point. Maybe
And
we'll have to
maybe
wait and
he's going to
see.
help get her back
Yeah,
off the wagon.
I mean Johnny could do that because Johnny and Linda are
Mm,
so close. So that
mm.
Johnny would be a because we've not seen Johnny at all since Linda's alcoholism was a thing. So it will be interesting to sort of because I think because Nancy's been there for it, Lee's been there for it, but Johnny never was. So it'd be interesting to sort of see Johnny in that role.
I wonder if she'll confess to Johnny.
Maybe, maybe.
I could see that.
So could I. Have to wait and see. Right then, ladies and gents, on to the final big storyline of the week. Returns aplenty. Figures from Denise's past have come back to haunt her. So we move on to Denise now, and my God, Denise is in the wraps of. I think you can call this a nervous breakdown at this point, can't you? Surely, I mean, it's not far off, even if it isn't yet.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say, isn't it? She's not.
She's not
Oh,
all there, is she? Bless her.
I've I felt really bad for her this week, actually.
I thought
Do you
Diane
know,
Parrish was incredible this week. I have to
like
say,
top
like,
notch.
brilliant, really
Um,
good performances.
do you know what though? Like, I also feel that Denise's like the way that she's reacting to all this is probably what quite like a normal person would do, knowing that they've
This is the
buried a
thing. Yeah, a
body
100%. Like
of
bearing it, and
someone.
also the fact that her necklace is down there, so she feels like all the pressure is on her. Should this come to
Yes.
pass, should this all come to light, it's all
Mm.
eyes are going to be on Denise straight away because she had such a distinctive necklace. And it doesn't help that people keep going, "Where's your necklace gone?
Where's necklace?
Where's your necklace? You know that iconic necklace that you always wear. Where's that necklace gone?" Um. So yeah, Denise really, really, really isn't in a good place this week. No more demonstrated by the fact that she goes to see Pastor Clayton. And by the way, I'm with you now. It's a bit dodgy about him.
Thank you. Maybe he
There
knows
is,
Lucas.
maybe it's his dad.
Oh no.
I thought that this week, if I'm honest. I did wonder that. I did wonder that. I don't know how much we know about Lucas's past and everything,
No, I
but
don't.
it would,
It'd be Chelsea's granddad if it were.
yeah, yeah, it would make sense, kind of, kind of. Mm.
Actually,
The
well,
fact that
yeah,
Pastor
no.
Clayton is in the regular credits now means that he's got a role of some description.
He doesn't strike me as a good guy.
There's something dodgy about him. I feel like the way
Mm,
he was taught. Like there was that moment when when he was talking to Denzel, and it was sort of like Denzel was kind of literally going, "Why are you here? Go away." And you're like, "No fair, actually, Denzel. Why is he there? Like he's
yeah.
hanging around
Mm,
Yolandi quite a lot. Like he's very nah. I'm not
mm-hmm.
convinced. Something dodgy about the old pastor. Let me tell you.
Told you.
Um, yes, I think you might be right. So yeah, I'm going to throw it out there. My theory is Lucas's dad. um,
That'd be
so
great.
talking of Lucas, nice surprise this week. Nice shocker that Lucas. Now let me tell you this. Now I kind of hope that's what we get from Lucas, and that's it. Because I have to say, the last time that Lucas came back, I think might have been one of the most stupid stories EastEnders has ever done.
I
It
know
was
it was annoying that.
ridiculous. It made no sense from start to finish that he was out of prison to start with. The fact that nobody paid any attention to him, they just let him wander around the community when he was a serial
Mm,
killer. Like none of it made any sense whatsoever. So when he kind of returned this week, I was sort of like, oh God, what are they doing? Why is he back? But I kind of understood Denise going to see him in the state of mind that she was in because she sort of was basically trying to get out of him, how do you live with what you've done? Because I'm now just as bad, is her thinking.
well, it were after Pastor Clayton said to her, weren't it?
Well,
Like,
this is
he
it.
basically said, you
Is
need
that
to
the
talk to
link?
someone who's gone through the exact same
Yeah.
thing you're
Is that the
going through.
link? Is that the link that Pastor Clayton sort of like was like
But how would
planting that
he
seed?
know? But how
But
would
planting
he
that
know
seed. Planting, yeah, yeah, no, that's true.
that
But
it was
then
the same thing that she's
same
going
thing that
through?
she
Do you
would,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be
But
watching. I'm gonna be watching Pastor Clayton like a big fat
told you,
hawk
told
over
you.
the
See, see, Dodger, wronging.
Yes, yes. So she goes to see Lucas, and quite a good scene between them, I have to say. Like it was
Hmm.
sort of quite insightful of Lucas to sort of because I feel like Lucas kind of had an idea of what was wrong with Denise because I think he must have been like, why has she come to see me of all people? Like what has actually gone on with her? Like it must be pretty bad for her to come and see me.
Yeah, but even still, he was like, there can't be. How can anything you've done be comparable to what I've done? And
Yeah.
she was
So
like,
and like the
so
state that
maybe,
she was in, like the clear
mm,
state that like the niece is walking around like she's in a coma for most of the week. She's not
I
slept,
mean, he
and she's
noticed she didn't
just
have a necklace on straight away.
yeah, exactly. So,
He's like, oh, Denise isn't wearing a necklace. What's going on here?
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
So it was nice to see him in the role that they had him in. I don't know if I want to see him all that often, just purely
I
because.
do.
See, do you? Because this is the thing with me.
Yeah.
I don't mind him like coming back every now and again and having the sort of this Hannibal Lecter type role in Denise's life. That's fine. But I just don't want him to be able to be get out of prison because it makes no sense for him to get out of prison every single time it happens. He's like Sideshow Bob in that regards, you know? It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's really good
Sideshow Lucas.
comparison, actually.
Sideshow Lucas. It makes no sense.
It is quite sad, Sherpa.
Like
Oh,
it's got
my.
die Denise die on it written all over his cell wall.
Totally would as well, wouldn't you, Lucas?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing him like from the prison and maybe Denise
Only in
confessing it to
prison.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
only
I
in
wouldn't mind
prison.
him in
Fine.
prison, but I don't want to see him. No, I agree with what you're saying that if he were just released onto the square, that'd be,
Yeah,
yeah, very
silly.
sideshow Bob.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there we go. So she goes to see Lucas, and Lucas, we kind of sense maybe has starting to got an inkling that something's really gone wrong with Denise, and
Mm,
he might have a kind of a bit of a clue what exactly she was referring to. But he doesn't. But she nearly tells him. This is the thing again with this theme throughout the week that the six sort of nearly telling somebody what's
mm.
going on. Who is going to be the first person to find out? I wouldn't have said it was going to be Lucas, but then maybe at this point he might manage to get it out of Denise. I don't
Or
know.
Chelsea, because Chelsea's really
Chelsea,
trying to. I don't know if
yeah.
it would be Chelsea, though. I think she might have told her by now. Then again, when Denise, well, we'll get to it, but Chelsea was in the house when Denise was presumably screaming at somebody that was in her room to get out. So maybe then
I
she'll.
mean, let's just talk about that last scene of the week this week, okay? I absolutely shit myself when that hand came around the wardrobe. And can I just say, there is a multitude of ways that soaps have done the sort of hallucination scene throughout the years, okay?
Hmm.
And very often it's tends to be accompanied by like dramatic underscore of music or sound effects or weird camera angles that for me completely and utterly takes me out of the scene because that's not how you experience a hallucination at all. Okay.
Hmm.
The way they did this was so creepy with no sound effects whatsoever. It was just done to complete silence and sort of you sort of saw sort of Keanu standing behind a net curtain and his sort of image being there, but we didn't see him entirely. It felt completely and utterly authentic to how an hallucination would be experienced, which made it 10 times more effective, I think.
No, I actually agree with what you're saying. Yeah, it felt like we were seeing it through her eyes, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean
Whereas if we'd
that
had music and stuff on top,
yeah, it just takes you away. It takes you completely out of it because all of a
mm.
sudden it feels like you're watching a TV drama rather than something that you are something relatable that you're experiencing. Okay.
And
And
it felt
Denise,
like so believable, didn't it? Because we were seeing it
I,
as she was seeing it.
that hand I genuinely it made me jump because it was so creepy the way it was done, just kind of creeping around the wardrobe. There is a clip of that horror film The Nun or whatever it's called, like The Nun. It's like there's a
Nope,
scene
never heard of
in
it.
well, it's just like this scary gun no, nun ghost thing, and there's a scene where I mean I haven't seen it, but I've seen this clip. This woman standing in a room, and like this shadow goes across the wall, and there's this like painting of this nun ghost on the wall, like she follows this shadow going across the wall, and the shadow goes behind the painting, and then hands come across the like very similar to the way that the wardrobe did, and then like the painting just sort of runs at the woman. But the way that the hands did it sort of reminded me of that scene, so I don't know whether that was sort of based on that or whatever. But it was so creepy, so creepy.
I also found when Denise were having that dream really creepy as well. When
Oh
Keanu were
yeah, like
burying her,
shit,
that were
yeah.
really creepy too.
Yeah, so they got Danny Walters back to film these sort of creepy Keanu moments. I mean, I'd love to have been on
Maybe
set.
when he got sorry, maybe when he got papped as well.
Yeah.
We're filming then. That's
Well,
what was going through my head.
yes. Oh, I see what you mean. Like, because
See
they
what I'm saying?
people kind of assumed that they'd done some false kind of spoiler pictures, didn't they? And they showed
So that
Keanu
you wouldn't
at
think he was going to get
yeah,
killed
But
where
maybe
when he were
it was
filming these
then. That's very
scenes.
good, Ree. Yes, well done, well done, well done.
Mm.
Yeah, so they brought Danny Walters back to sort of do these creepy Keanu moments. I would have liked to have been on set that day where they did the hallucinations because literally all they were doing was sticking Danny Walters behind a net curtains, and he just sort of walks forward, kind of obscured by the mirror. But it was really, really effective the way that they did it. Really, really well directed. And yeah, I forgot about the dream as well. That was creepy. That was a bit more sound effecty, a bit more sort of that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. But in a dream, I
Yeah.
can kind of
It
get
were in
away.
a dream. Yeah,
It
yeah,
was in a
yeah.
dream, so you can sort of forgive it a little bit more. But hallucinations should purely be silenced. Like the way they did that hallucination scene is how it should be done, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Really, really well done. But this, I think, shows that Denise is absolutely cracking up at this stage.
I
So,
mean, is she heading into psychosis, right?
I mean, it would seem that way.
Or and then I'm wondering, is she heading into psychosis? She's already on the brink as it is.
Mm,
Are people going to see her that she's losing it? Excuse me for not using the correct terminology for what I'm discussing, but people going to see that she is.
yeah.
Then she's going to confess, but then they'll all be able to go like, "Oh no, 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 she's lost her mind," and then maybe
Mm.
she's going to get like sent to a mental health hospital when actually she's telling
Yes,
the truth? That's what I've been wondering. Is
maybe. I mean,
that how it's going to pan
this
out?
it could be. I mean, it depends how far they go with it. But at the moment, she
Mm,
is currently hallucinating, seeing Keanu around everywhere, and also communicating with this hallucination as well, which is sort of
yeah.
feels like the next step, like asking him not to hurt her kids. This sort of reminds me of when Bobby was seeing Lucy. You know, and
Yeah, yeah.
he was communicating with Lucy and like talking to her
Mm.
and stuff. So you sort of wonder how far they're going to take this and how the rest of the six are going to have to sort of kind of keep Denise under control at this moment. Now, you would think that she would have Jack on her side
I
throughout
know
all this.
exactly.
However, Jack very much is not on her side because Jack and Stacey's affair has restarted.
Sorry, how out of order is this? Come
How out
on.
of order is Stacey at this moment, right?
Yeah, very.
She
Mm-hmm.
knows why Denise is in the state she's in. She perhaps doesn't realize quite what level Denise is at the moment, but she knows from Jack and sort of seeing her own evidence that Denise isn't in a great space at the minute. So Stacey's solution to that is to start shagging her husband again. Bad Stacey.
Do you
Very, very
know,
bad Stacey.
I don't know if you even know this, Rob, but Stacey's one of my all-time favourite characters. And I have been so disappointed with her this week. But I know that this is quite on
This is
brand for
quite a brand for
Stacey. There's a
Stacey. Yeah.
Branning man.
It's a
Is there a
Branning. Of
Branning
course
man
it
who
is.
needs an affair? I'm
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, this is what I
I'm
mean.
here.
Like,
But
this is very on brand for
mm,
Stacey. And this, to be fair, I always kind of people always kick off about this sort of thing, and I always kind of think it's important to remember that no soap character is an angel. All right, not a single one. They've all got their own secrets. They all do stupid things. They all make mistakes, and they all do things they shouldn't do in order for drama to happen. Okay, and this is perfectly in character for Stacey to sort of let her lustful feelings towards a Branning kind of take over from common sense. All right, it's totally what she does. So I don't think it's
I
particularly out
know,
of
but
character for Stacey. I just think it's a really, really unpleasant move for Stacey, considering she
I
knows where Denise is at.
I don't know who's worse, Jack or Stacey, though, actually,
Well,
because I
Jack doesn't
think.
know. I mean, yeah, Jack. I get because as far as Jack's concerned, Denise is just being really off with him because he had the affair in the first place.
But even Chelsea can see, like, no,
Yeah,
it's a bit more than that. Like, she's actually, like,
but Jack's a man,
literally
isn't
out
he?
of her mind.
But Jack's a man, isn't he?
Yeah, nah,
it's
nah, nah.
all about
Jack's
him.
living with her. It's his wife. He can see that. He's just using, oh, she's being distant as an excuse to go with Stacey. But actually, he's the one who should be trying to make doctor's appointments for her
Mm,
because he's living with her and seeing it, how she is. Don't
yeah.
know. It's almost like I don't want to admit how bad she is because I
But I
think it's
feel like
because of my actions.
yeah, but the thing is, they had the thing with the phone as well this week, which I kind of
Oh,
feel
yeah.
would have perpetuated Jack's thoughts towards that.
Mm.
Because Jack, I feel this is what I mean. I think Jack thinks it's completely about him because they went and because Denise kind of took his phone because he was worried that Jack was investigating Keanu's disappearance because Jack gave her some cock and bull story about why he'd been out all night when he'd in fact been at Stacey's to say that he'd been dealing with this really big missing persons case, and Denise's brain instantly went to, "Oh my god, he's looking for Keanu." So, but again, Stacey would have heard, but like was able to put the pieces together and still continue doing this. In fact, yeah, despite the moral side of things, also this is really unwise of Stacey to do as well. Like this isn't a
Mm-hmm.
clever move in any regard, all right? Because she
No.
knows what's going on, and to have a policeman so close within her midst when something like this is going on in her own life is just stupid. Not
Yeah.
it's not her wisest move, Stacey. Honestly, Jean needs to
I
get
don't know
involved with
though,
this.
because in a way, at least she might have Jack on side actually, if anything.
Well, I mean,
I
she's
know
got him
what
there
you're
to defend.
saying, but
She's got him there to defend her from like the likes of Nish and everything.
mm,
But God, this is going to get very, 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 very messy. I can't wait to
well,
see the fallout of this. But it's
it looks like
God.
a full blown affair now,
I
doesn't
think
it?
that's what
Like
it
it's a
is. And
hundred
yeah,
percent.
this is what it is. Like I'm trying to think like the last full blown affair storyline that we had. It's been a while, isn't it? Used to be a
Even Suki.
oh yeah, but I mean like oh yeah, that's
Oh
true.
yeah, but
Yeah, no, even Suki,
mm,
quite right. But like, I don't know. I feel like Stacey
I
does
know what you
affairs
mean.
like no one else. So maybe that's sort of she's the staple of what an affair story is because Stacey has
Yeah,
affairs. That's her and Cindy are up there with people who
it's
have
a
the most
thing. It's a
affairs.
thing,
The
isn't
thing,
it? Yeah, yeah.
the thing. Martin's not around anymore, so oh, screw it. I'll go back to another Branning. I'm telling you, Max needs to return now. Now this is officially
Yeah,
happening. Max needs to come back because Max and Jack
definitely.
will definitely fall out over this, and then it'll all get very, very messy. And then Max will be the first person to find out about Keanu. Yes,
Ooh,
that's what's going to happen. Mm.
ooh,
Um,
interesting.
so where the hell does this go from here? The Denise Stacy Jack triangle is messy as hell. Like it's going to absolutely go to
What
pieces
a
when
bad
that all comes
idea,
out.
Stacey.
Such
You're
a bad
right, actually.
idea.
She's the one who knows the ins and outs of everything that's
Exactly.
going on.
She could not have chosen a worse person to have an affair with, especially seeing
No.
as though she knows what went on from all angles. She is like she is an omnipresence throughout the entire thing. She knows everything that's gone on. So for her to then start having an affair with Jack, whilst Denise is going through a mental breakdown, and Stacey is starting to get an idea that Denise is going through that because Denise started laughing like hysteria, like laughing in hysteria
It's,
in the square in
oh
front of
well,
her.
we've not talking about Madame Tellerina and the little scene we had there, Rob.
I loved that. I thought it
I
was so
say it
funny.
was
I mean, there were
brilliant.
so many different elements to it that I loved. The fact that she was talking absolute rubbish. The fact that Elaine was stood there on the stage looking at everybody with faux wonder.
Can I just
Oh,
say I
isn't
love
she
Elaine now?
amazing? Isn't she
Elaine
amazing?
clicked. It's
I love her.
clicked with me. Love
Thank
her. She's
you.
brilliant.
Told you,
She's
she's an icon.
amazing.
She's an
Yeah, I get
icon.
it.
She's a rubbish
Yeah.
mother, but she's an icon.
Ah, Madame Tellerina.
She's an amazing woman. I love Elaine
Yeah, she
so
is.
much. But yeah, this psychic reading was hilarious. So Denise kind of wanders into the Vic, and it's like, I mean, again, this is the state of mind that Denise is at, where she's like, yeah, no, that's a great idea for me to do right now. So she kind of wanders onto the stage, and Madame Tolrini starts talking about like how someone is buried, and talking about like saying to Denise, "How could you do this to me?" And all the other six around the pub going,
Shit.
like Happy's face was amazing. She's like,
Kathy's like, Stacey, stop it. I
Stacey,
don't know
stop
how
it.
Stacey were planning to stop
I
it, do
don't know what
you?
Stacey was planning on doing. Like Stacey was like, no, wait, let's just see how this plays
Yeah.
out. Just wait a minute. God. So, and then it turns out that Madame Telrini was talking about a dog. Stays and Denise has no
Or a
sooner had a
cat or a
budgie than she
pet.
has, a whole menagerie of animals that she went through. Yeah, no, it's just very, very funny. Like you say, Reese decided that psychics exist. I'm surprised by this, but
I don't even understand why Reese was sat with the six
no, he
at the
just wandered
pub.
in. Just wandered in. He's got
He just
mates.
went and sat with him.
This is Reese is very
Like,
popular, and that's why.
well, actually, I overthought it and I'm like, oh, I guess he knows Kathy. But even
Yeah.
still, why is Reese just randomly in this scene? I don't understand
Reese
it
goes, oh
at
no,
all.
I'll have some champers for you to celebrate your divorce. Hell yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And Reese would not believe in psychics.
I
I'm
did think
sorry.
that. I did think that. But then he made an interesting point with psychics, which I've always kind of thought. Like, I
Yeah,
think deep
brings
down,
a comfort. Yeah.
yeah, I think deep down, we all know it's rubbish. Okay. We all know it's
Mm,
rubbish. But I've been to see psychics. I know you've been to see psychics and stuff.
mm,
Like, and I think that there is an element of comfort there that you can take out of what they say
yeah.
to you. Like, deep down,
Yeah.
you know full well, even if you choose to admit it or not, you know it's
Yeah.
rubbish. And you know that they are
Oh, see, I don't
using
think they all are rubbish.
they use very generalized
I
statements. I
think a
think is their
lot of them
trick.
are. Yeah, the
Yeah,
cold read people
she
and
was
yeah,
certainly.
yeah.
Madame
Yeah, yeah. I
Tarini
mean, we're not going
for
to say that
sure was
she were.
rubbish.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I went to see a psychic once who told me that I was going to get into quantum engineering.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's not believe it.
Do you know what I mean? Me, quantum engineering. She was like, "Yeah, I can see you. I'm sensing engineering. I can see machines. I'm sensing oil. I was sensing oil. You can get out of that section of my mind right away, Mrs. Out. That's private. Out you go, please. Out. Get out." But yeah, so that's sometimes the level of
Yeah,
psychic you
okay,
meet,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
sometimes you get someone like Madame Telrini who barks and meows and trumpets and does whatever she needs to do. While Elaine stands there beside her, going, "Isn't she amazing? That's just
She's
marvelous. She's marvelous. Ah, she's amazing."
ah,
So yeah, that was all very, very funny.
yeah.
But yeah, where does Denise go from here? This is just the start, I think, of Denise just completely disintegrating.
Well, do you? I'm going to mention another soap here. Sorry.
Oh yes, go
Do you
on.
remember when Rana died on Coronation
Yes, I
Street
was going
and
to mention this
Carla
to
was
you.
having
Yes,
the
yes, 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 yes.
hallucinations of
And
Rana?
again, that's not how to do hallucinations because that was all music and
Right, that's
weird
what I was
sped up sound
thinking when you
effects.
were
Yeah,
saying it,
yeah, yeah,
actually.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
100%.
So I'm just wondering if they're going to go down this as a bit of a long route type of thing for her,
Well,
and
it's a
then, like I said, she's
psychosis
going to
thing,
end up
isn't it?
getting sectioned or something.
Maybe,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
definitely.
It's a
Yeah,
psychosis thing. A few people have sort of questioned whether Stacey's going to start to have an episode soon as well.
did wonder that. I think I said that a bit ago. I wondered
Because
if.
arguably you could say
Oh no,
that
that was
this
with Theo. I thought it might happen.
yeah, but the arguably you could say that this Jack thing is such a stupid idea that it almost falls into the sort of risk aversion,
Hypermania type.
hypermania, where you take risk.
Yeah.
Like, if you remember when Jean had her episode recently, she was doing like crazy stuff and like stuff risky, and that's one of the things, and it
That's
always has been with Stacey, that she, when she's having an episode, she will do
yeah.
something risky. So this is about as risky as Stacey could possibly go. So you've got to sort of wonder whether Denise is
That's a
sort of the
very good
face of it at
point.
the moment, and Stacey is kind of in the background slowly having her own meltdown. But I don't know. I kind of think maybe not, but we'll have to wait and
Yeah.
see.
Could be
But
there. The thing with Denise, though, she has these, which to be fair, she seems to be having around Jack more, where she seems a bit more lucid and a bit more
yeah.
with it.
Well, she's prepared
Whereas
to talk to
then,
that. She wanted to talk to Jack about this. This is the thing.
yeah. And but then we're seeing this other side, mainly when she's with the six or whatever, or like when she's hysterically laughing at the sidekick. But Jack doesn't seem to be actually seeing that side as
This
much.
is
But
what I
like I
mean.
say,
Jack's got the man
it
approach
still
to
can
it.
see there's something wrong.
Yeah,
Like
but
she's
he
not
thinks it's.
herself.
But he thinks that she's punishing him for what he did. That's all it is. But then again, Jack's solution to that is, oh, I'll carry on having the affair then.
I'll carry on. I'll just make it more secret. I'll be better at hiding it.
Yeah. So yeah, I just won't stand outside that window.
Yeah.
So yeah, long way to go for Denise though. But what an amazing week for Diane Parrish.
Sorry, we've not mentioned the fact that Suki's been celebrating this week.
Yes, Suki has managed to get herself a divorce from Nish. All is signed, although
Mm.
you sort of almost feel that Nish isn't going to let it go that quickly. There was a nice moment for Suki at the end of the week where she just basically told Nish exactly what he thought of her and then sort of stormed off, and you can almost see like the freedom in her face as she realised that she was free of him. She was out of his life and she could just be happy with Eve. So I mean, Suki at the minute, ironically, considering everything that's gone on the past month or so, is having a great time. Suki is having a great time. As long as everybody else just
Literally
goes,
best time of her life.
yeah, as long as everybody else goes along with the plan, Suki doesn't see a
Yeah.
problem. And fair play to her. And if anything
Agreed.
goes wrong, I'm just going to run off with my girlfriend. So, meh.
Quite a big thing though for Suki to just hand absolutely everything over that she's built up for the past 20 years.
That's the power of Eve. The temptation of Eve means, you know what? Material gains mean nothing compared to true love. That's where she's at with it, I think. And also, I think
and the
it's
fact
just,
that there's a dead body buried under the calf that I don't really
well,
want
you
them
know,
to
she
figure
could have fought
out.
harder to get the calf. She could have fought harder to get the calf, I think. So I suspect that will come back to shoot them in the foot. That the calf is completely under Nish's control now. Spoiler
will it
alert.
work in their favour?
Well, spoiler siren, Nina, Nina, Nina. Nish will now own the calf. I'm going into spoiler territory here, so click forward if you don't want to hear. Nish will own the calf. Nish is getting his own neon sign. Can I just say for a
Yeah, I've
start?
seen a photo of something. Yeah.
And
Oh,
under the
no.
floor is not that safe a place to be. It would transpire in the coming weeks. Yes. Oh, I should work for I should work for the EastEnders marketing team. Oh yeah, that's a tease, isn't it? Oh yes. So yes, we have not
I
seen the
hate
last.
spoilers as well. That's the worst thing about doing
We
this
have not
podcast when you
seen.
actually tell me something that I've not seen spoiled.
We have not seen the last of the goings
Damn
on
it.
underneath the floor. Put it like that. So watch very carefully in the coming
Okay.
weeks. Right then, Gold Star Ree.
Denise.
I knew you were going to do that. I don't know.
I'm glad you asked me first.
I should be so much of a gent, should I? I should just jump in myself. I'm going first next week. Are we doing it now? I've got to give it somebody different now. Is that how we're doing
You
it now?
made this rule up last week that it's got to be someone
That was only to
different.
spite you.
Decided that.
That was only to
So
spite
yeah,
you.
it's got to be someone
Oh, I
different.
don't know who else I'd give it to though. Who else? Who else? Who else?
Linda, Suki for finally getting rid of Nish. Linda for being a
Do
great
you know what? Actually, no.
alcoholic.
Do you know what? Actually, no.
Alfie.
I'm gonna give it to Alfie, who I thought
Yeah.
was a really good friend this week to Linda, and he's actually in a really good place character-wise at the moment. I would say Alfie. So
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm going to say Alfie. So there we go. Then gold stars this week go to Denise and Alfie. Final section of the podcast, as usual, ladies and gents, is comments from you guys. Right, before we start reading out your comments, got a little bit of an announcement to make. We are going to do once a month a Q&A session about EastEnders with questions hopefully sent from you. If you would like us to answer a question about EastEnders, we will do our research and we will find out the answer for you. Ask us anything you like about EastEnders and we will endeavour to find the best possible answer for you. All you need to do is email e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. If you could do us a favour and put in the subject title Q&A with your question, and we will endeavour to answer that to the best of our ability. We will do a Q&A video probably about once a month. So keep sending those questions in and we will do our best to get that answered for you. So that's exciting. I thought we'd add a little bit of an extra thing for you in there. So there we are then. Marvellous. So yeah, send us those questions and we'll do our best to answer them. First comment is from Becky L. Pickering on Facebook, who says Stacey is being so stupid. She can see Denise is falling apart and on edge of confessing and putting them all in jail. So she decides to give Denise another thing to have a breakdown over. Yeah, this is what I mean. Like, this is so stupid of Stacey to do this. I mean, I get it. Carnal desires and all that kind of thing sometimes take over common sense, especially when you're Stacey. But it's
now you've described that risky behaviour thing there. That kind of makes sense. But would they be going down to mental health storylines with two of them like that?
Well, you know, different mental health comes in different forms, and I think that it's good to have the six really sort of like going through the effects of what because the Christmas Day was traumatic for them. You know, I think it's very easy to sort of take events like that on a soap with just a pinch of salt and go, oh yeah, well that's what happened. But actually, if you were to do if you went through something like that, it would genuinely traumatize you. So I think it's interesting to sort of explore that.
If you and I killed someone and buried them under a cafe, I don't think
I'd be
we'd be
fine.
going around acting numb. Oh, you'd be okay,
I'd
would
be
you?
all
I
right.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'd be very Denise.
Well, it gets
Yeah,
easier.
I think I'd be
It gets
very
easier.
Denise.
It gets easier the more you do it, Reese. To be honest, that's all I'd say. So
Okay, well, I've also got a comment. Moving on from our Instagram page from Lana Bum, who says the mirror scene was horrifying. I'm still seeing it. I think Diane Parrish has been incredible this week. She's surely about to crumble first. Interesting that they are taking her down a mental health route again. I wonder maybe if this is the beginning of the end for Denise.
I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting you mentioned about sectioning because that might be. That could be the way Stacey might take advantage of that and start kind of pushing towards that because she knows, you know, Stacey's been sectioned a couple of times, and maybe she's going to sort of push towards that. I don't know.
And then Jack's free, isn't he, for her, for Stacey? Yeah, that's one obstacle out of the way.
She's such an
Do you
angel.
know, it's not actually like sectioning's not that difficult either. Like, you know, if you can prove that somebody's not in the right state of mind, as
Yeah.
long as you can prove that, yeah, it might not be that difficult. I am saying that from experience. I'm not just
Yes.
assuming that, but
Yes. Not Reed. Reed's not been sectioned. Not yet.
no, not me personally. But yeah. Anyway,
not yet. Not yet. Anyway.
Another comment, Rob.
Yes, Sean Jones has emailed in and says, "Hi, Rob and Ree, love the podcast. Thank you very much. I'm not happy about the Jack and Stacey storyline for a couple of reasons. I'm unbelievably fed up of affair storylines. Seriously, we have just had one and only an end. We have just had one end, only for another one to start. So they are massively overdone by every soap. Emmerdale has done 3 under 2 years, and by this point, it's lost the impact that it should have." And 2, it makes Jack and Stacey look like awful people. Denise is one step away from a complete nervous breakdown, and Jack is like, oh well. And Stacey knows what Denise is going through and how seriously she's been affected by it, but instead is thinking, bleep that, I'm going to have an affair with your husband. Not that I blame her, I would with Jack any day. Fair. I was just hoping after what happened on Christmas Day that there would be a lot more solidarity between all 6 women. I think we need an extended break from affair storylines. I mean, let's talk about affair storylines, okay? See, I remember a time when they were absolutely everywhere. And I think viewers as a whole of soap were sort of like, all right, enough, right? We're done with them for now. And so I think the soaps in general took a little bit of a backstep from affair storylines, didn't they? Do you kind of get that feeling? I think around for about 5 years there was less affair storylines than there used to be.
I mean, yeah, I think they were quite big, like early noughties,
Yeah,
nineties, like it were
yeah.
affair, and they did calm down a little. But I think it's kind of what you expect with soaps, to be honest. It is a bit like, oh, I roll another affair, but there's only so much that they can do with certain characters. Like it's kind of inevitable to me that
Yeah, I
somebody's going
mean,
to be having an affair at any one point.
yeah, I mean, it sort of depends, like, what your thoughts are on watching a happy couple. In all honesty, you know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of like, is there anything interesting in that? Now you sort of wonder, especially with it. I think if they're in character, I don't mind them. And as much as we're criticizing Stacey for this, it's perfectly in character for Stacey to do this. In all fairness,
true.
and it's perfectly in character for Jack to do this. In all fairness, as well. So it is. I think in this instance, it's an affair that works. But I do know what you mean, where it can feel very repetitive. But I don't know. It feels like I went for a stage of thinking, oh, I'm dying for a good old affair storyline. I've not had one of those for
Yeah, we're not having
ages,
an
you know.
affair.
But actually, what I'm craving in that regard is the the climax, the confrontation, the reveal at the end of that, because the
Yeah.
affair reveal is normally quite explosive. So that's sort of what
Mm,
you're waiting for, really, depending on
the
how
big
long the affair
fallout.
goes on for. Yeah.
I mean, that email said, "Oh, it's just painting Jack and Stacey in a bad light." Well, yeah, it is
Mm,
because they are doing something that they
yeah.
shouldn't be doing. Considering,
Affairs are
I mean,
bad.
it'd be bad enough if Denise was, going about her day-to-day business and we're absolutely fine, but it is even worse given her
Yeah.
current state. So, I don't know. It makes me wonder if there's going to be a bit more to it all, actually, given that there's that other layer to it with Denise's.
I do think this potentially more has the potential to be a
Babe,
much bigger. I know, right? I've just
what
gone
a
to pee.
words today.
Blah, 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 blah. I do think this has the potential to be a bit more of an explosive outcome
Mm,
than your standard affair storyline, because there's a lot more
yeah.
elements going on to this one. Like, there is the fact that Stacey knows exactly what's going on. Denise, I think, once she's in more of her right mind, will absolutely rip Stacey's hair from her scalp when she finds out what's gone
Mm.
on here. So
Or maybe the other six will figure out what Stacey's doing and be like, "Are you being for
are you
real right
mad?
now?
Are
Like
you
we've not
mad,
got
woman?
enough."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
It's. I think there's. I don't mind this one. I have to say. Like I said, whilst you can criticize Stacey, I like the fact that actually there's a lot of ways that this storyline could go in. It's not just your standard affair storyline. This one, there's a bit more to it. But I do see Sean's point.
mm.
It's sometimes you need to sort of kind of think of something
Arguably, it
else
is
for
your
a couple.
standard affair storyline. It's Stacey having an affair with a Branning man.
Yeah,
So,
that's about as standard as it gets for Stacey, to be fair, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, this is very standard. There we are then. So, if you would like to get in touch with us, and remember, we are after your EastEnders questions, EastEnders Q&A. You need to send them and do the following.
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Instagram and Twitter at E20 After Dark. You can like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, Albert Square After Dark, and you can find us on all your favourite podcast sites. Drop us an email and with your Q&As to e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do so by going on buymeacoffee.com/E20 After Dark. Talking of buy me a coffee, Rob,
Oh, yeah.
we have had everyone's been very generous, by the way, the
Thank you
people
so
who bought us
much.
coffees. Thank you.
I'm off my
But
tits on caffeine.
somebody, wait,
Hey,
we've had a particular person who's been very generous, and not they're anonymous, who has
yes.
bought us 15 coffees. So
Love
thank
you.
you to whoever
Thank
you
you.
are. Thank you very much.
Mwah, mwah, mwah,
Mwah.
mwah. Love you. Love you. Thank you very much. Yeah, seriously, that's really, really
Yeah, and to
generous. Thank you
everyone
so
those
much.
bought us coffees, thank you.
Absolutely. It's been we were kind of moved by the amount of coffees we've had bought for
Mm,
us. So thank you
yeah.
very much indeed. Right, we will be back same time next week. Next week, ladies and gents, we've got another return. We thought she was done, but a certain woman wearing a very distinctive bobble is going to briefly return to the square. And my goodness me, does she
Hmm.
have some mess to return to? Some of it's self-contained, but I think you might know who we refer to. Let's see what occurs there. We'll be discussing all the fallout from that on the podcast next week. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.